Hi, everybody. Welcome to my living room. This is Connie. How are you all today? I hope you're doing well. We had some scary news this week, and I would like to share that with you. It was very traumatic and very frightening. And just to get right into it, my 16-year-old grandson, who's an awesome individual and very healthy and never used any kind of drugs or alcohol or cigarettes or anything in his entire life. In fact, all 6 children have never used anything, which is almost unheard of. And he wanted an electric bike for Christmas, and his parents didn't buy it for him. But soon after that, he did some soliciting, and I had a driver's license, so he was able to drive, and he got himself some good customers for cleaning windows and things like that. And he was making good money, and so I guess he went out and bought his own electric bike. And I got a call from my daughter about 4 days ago. I've lost count now. Could be 5, but at least 4. And she said he's been hit by a car, and she was headed to the hospital. And so for about 18 hours, I think I forgot to breathe. And then we got some better news, and when I got that better news, I all of a sudden I just inhaled and exhaled such a deep breath that I realized I hadn't been breathing. So I guess that's just a natural reflex that I do to kind of take care of myself when I'm stressed or whatever. So anyway, that was what I did. And I don't know how to explain to you what happened. I'm just going to try to give you an idea of the fear that we had. In examining him in the emergency room, he had 2 broken bones, and I don't remember the name of them, but they're in his right leg between his knee and his ankle. And one was a long, very tiny, narrow bone that, according to my granddaughter, is not a weight-bearing bone. And so they just set that bone. And then the other bone was a longer bone that was bigger, and a weight-bearing bone that helped to one of the main bones for holding his leg up so he can walk. And so they said they were going to put a rod in that one. And the other leg was very swollen, and they didn't know what was going on with it yet. They were still checking that. And he was in so much pain, they put him on a really strong drug that really scared us because he's never had anything like that. And I guess he was freaking out because it was just really strong, but he was in a lot of pain. And so we just prayed a lot that night because we didn't know what was going to happen. And then he finally drifted off to sleep from the drugs that they had given him to help combat the pain. And it was late, and the nurse came in. My daughter stayed at the hospital until he came home, which was last night. And so the nurse came in later that night and said he has a fractured C7. And so they put a neck brace on him. And I Googled that. I didn't know what it meant. And I'm not even going to put out there the challenges that could have come up from that one. You can Google it if you don't know, because I don't want to say it. So anyway, the next morning, they're going to take him in for surgery on his right leg. and his left leg was still swollen, so they still didn't know what was going on with that one. But before they took him in, they took the neck brace off and said they changed their mind on the C7 and that it looked okay. And so if there was anything wrong, it was minor, and they probably weren't going to do anything about it. So he went in and he had the surgery. And I guess evidently when he went in, the anesthesiologist was asking him what did he have anything to drink? Was he a smoker? Did he vape or any of those things? And he kept saying no, no, no. And they're like, we need you to be honest with us, because this could make the difference in life or death when I give you this medicine to knock you out for the surgery. And so we need to know. And he's like, no, I take nothing. And the anesthesiologist is like, son, now listen, it's okay. You're not going to get in any trouble. We just need to know this in order to save your life. And knowing my grandson, I imagine that he got a little angry the third time around and said, I don't do anything. I mean, it's so hard to believe a 16-year-old boy doesn't do anything, but he doesn't. And so they said, okay. So they took him in and they operated, and they put the rod in his leg, and they put a cast from his ankle to just below his knee. And let's see, at that point, they had the brace off. So then sometime after surgery, before or after recovery, they came back in, put the neck brace back on, and said, looks like we're going to have to operate on this C7. And so then we were in that state again. So we were constantly vacillating. And so they came back a couple of hours later. I mean, prayers. We had so many people praying. And if you're on my Facebook page, I know that you probably saw if you're on Facebook and you're friends with me on Facebook, you probably saw my posts and you were part of the ones that were praying. And I just thank you profusely. The prayers were heard. And so anyway, they came back a couple hours later and they took the neck brace off again. And they said that it looked like the C7 might have been an older injury, and so it was okay. Now, he is very active in sports, and so from what I understand, it's a good possibility, when he was younger or whatever, because, the younger you are, your bones heal better. And so there's a good possibility that he had some sort of injury to it, but it healed itself and we didn't even know it. So there is that. And so then they spent, and because I've lost track, they spent 1 or 2 more days in the hospital. And then yesterday, my 22-year-old granddaughter called me up and she said, I'm taking the 2 youngest sisters, who are 13 and 14, to the hospital to see Phoenix. And would I like to go? Oh my goodness, I jumped out of my seat so fast I was out the door and waiting for her to get there. And so I got to go in, and he didn't know I was coming, and his mother didn't know I was coming. And so that was quite a thrill. And he's like, Grandma, come here. So he gave me an awesome hug, considering he was weak and on drugs, but it was sweet. It was just sweet. And I gave him a kiss on the little cheek, and I said, don't you ever do that again. He said, I know, I won't. And so then he came home last night. His mother, I think, he was ready to come home, and his mother, I think, helped instigate it. And so they got him home last night, and his dad said this morning that he's in a lot of pain in his legs. But I'm sure that's part of the healing, and he's on different medication now than he was in the hospital probably. And so that might have had something to do with it as well. And so anyway, he's one blessed young man, and he survived, and he's going to be okay. And the doctor said it would be a 3-month recovery, and it would be a complete recovery. Now, I don't know if the doctor knows how much he's involved in sports, so that conversation will probably come up with further doctor appointments. but he will have a complete recovery for walking and getting around, and he's going to be okay. And I will tell you, with the way the accident happened, I told him yesterday when I was there, I said, God sent his angels and they just put their arms around you and they just lifted you through that accident and carried you over and laid you down on the ground. And he loves Jesus with all his heart. And so he said, yes, I know that. I mean, yeah, Grandma, no, nothing like that. He said, I know that. That gives me chills right now just thinking about it. It was a horrific accident. He hit the car. It was his fault, and he hit the car and with his bike. It was an accident. It was a stupid accident, which most are, but it almost cost him his life. So when he hit the car, he flew off his bike and landed on the, I don't know how many times he hit the car, but the whole hood of the car was smashed in. The windshield was totally shattered. And the top of the car, for about 3 feet from the windshield, was all dented in. And then he flew over the car and landed on the ground. And he was with a friend, and you can imagine how horrific. And with that description, God laid him down there because it was horrific. And he's the first one to say, I could have died. I know that. And so when they first got there, he was unconscious. And so he woke up, and the first thing he said was, where's my legs? And they said, they're here. They're attached to your body. And he tried to sit up. He said, I want to look at them. And of course, with that kind of a trauma injury, you can't let them sit up. So they wouldn't let him sit up. And so because they wouldn't let him sit up, he didn't believe them. And so he said, you're lying to me. You're lying. You're lying. Where are my legs? And they said, Phoenix, you just have to trust us. Your legs are attached. They're there. And you're going to be okay. Just lay there until the ambulance gets here. And so I kind of got the end before, I don't know, on the story. Anyway, that's what happened. That's how it happened. As much as I know, I haven't heard any details or seen anything other than the picture of the car that his dad put out there. And so he's home, he's recovering, and I'm forever grateful. And I'm going to encourage the family to put him, that I'm into nutrition and a lot of great products. And there's 2 things that he's got to take. One is our meal replacement protein shake. He's got to put this in his body, and as many of them a day as he will consume. You can live off of these for a little while if you need to. And I have a friend that had a pilon fracture, and he lived on those shakes for about 6 weeks. And he really sped up the healing process of his pilon fracture to a complete healing, didn't even have a limp. And the other thing that he must get on is our collagen elixir, because this is a bone healer. It helped me with my osteopenia that I had, and I started on this, and I had another test done, and I'm no longer in osteopenia at all. My numbers have gone up, and my bones are much healthier. And so he's got to get on this as well. And so those are the 2 main products that he's going to be taking to speed up his recovery. And he loves the shakes. He has at least one every day in the morning before school. And so that's part of his healing process, along with time and God continuing to bless him. And he's on crutches and a wheelchair right now. His friend that was with him, his best friend, they decided that he's going to go to school with the wheelchair, and the best friend is going to wheel him around the school grounds in the wheelchair. So he'll get a little of attention when he goes back to school. But anyway, that's our story. That's what happened with my 16-year-old grandson. And again, those of you that are on Facebook and that have seen my posts and commented, thank you from the bottom of my heart for your prayers. Extremely grateful. And I can't share any pictures on here because I'm a novice as far as technology goes, and my phone has too many pictures in it. And the app that I use to put extra pictures on and different things that you can see, like when I've done some of my clothes try on and things, the app won't work because there's too many pictures on the whole thing. I guess the app works, but then I can't transfer it back to my pictures. However that works, I don't know. So if you're on Facebook, stay tuned because I'm going to do an update on there today as well. And if you're not on Facebook and you'd like to see the story of what happened and see how bad he was, see his progression, because I've posted his progressions on there, just go to Connie Norleen, I'm the only one on there, and friend request me and send me a message and tell me you just saw my video about my grandson. And if you're one of our widows, find me on there and friend me, and if you like, I'll add you to our widows Facebook group. All right. So that's it for today. Thank you so much for listening to my story and letting me get it out. It's part of my healing process for the trauma with him as well. So thank you so much, and have an awesome day. And if nobody else tells you today, please remember, I love you. Have an awesome day. Bye for now.